Welcome everyone, this is AndresRestart, and here today we're going to be talking about this piece of artwork, this official artwork that came out about Splatoon. It could maybe be suggesting something about Splatoon 3, but at the same time, I'm not entirely sure. So, truth be told, I probably should have brought this up during the podcast yesterday, but honestly forgot. But also at the same time, I'm not entirely sure that this piece of artwork is suggesting that Splatoon 3 news, like an actual new trailer with gameplay, is around the corner. I think we're probably still a bit of a ways off. Now the main reason for that is because when we got the final update and the final Splatfest, we got news that once that was all done, that they still weren't working on Splatoon 3. Now that doesn't mean that Splatoon 3 won't come in the future, but at this point, basically 6 months after that news came out, they weren't actually working on Splatoon 3. I would say it's pretty likely that Splatoon 3 is still a ways off, so I'm not expecting any sort of gameplay trailer in a January Nintendo Direct to start off the year 2020. That said, I do think this piece of artwork is teasing something about the future of Splatoon. Potentially just something related to the Salmonids and some sort of DLC update, but I'd say it's more likely something to do with Splatoon 3 because I think we're probably past the point of DLC for Splatoon 2. We got 2 years of it, or more than 2 years of it. I think now they're going to start focusing their efforts on making Splatoon 3, and perhaps this piece of artwork is basically suggesting just that. So taking a look at the artwork, we see that clearly it's celebrating the new year, 2020, but if you look at the water, 202 are actually reflected, it looks more like an SOS. Now, SOS typically has to do with a distress signal. Normally we see it at sea, which is a common motif with the Splatoon series, things at sea. So if there's a distress signal at sea, something is having issues and they're calling for help. It appears that maybe the Salmonids are calling for help, because if you look very carefully, that first S in the water, it's actually the first letter for a word, which is save. Then the O is the first letter for another word, our, and then the final S is the first letter in the word salmons. Save our salmons. The salmons are in trouble. Perhaps the Salmonids are in trouble. And maybe this is a situation where these little baddies from Splatoon 2 won't be so bad than Splatoon 3. It'll be kind of like a different perspective. Maybe something a bit similar to what we saw in Splatoon 1 to Splatoon 2, how the lines between good and bad guys sort of blurred a little bit. The Octarians, the Octolings, not all of them were necessarily bad people, so maybe this time around in Splatoon 3, the Salmonids won't necessarily be bad guys either. I could see that happening. I think that's what this artwork is suggesting, that the Salmonids are going to play a role in Splatoon 3. To me, that's pretty exciting. I do think Splatoon 3 is a bit of a ways off, but at least we're seeing this artwork that could very well be teasing just that. But I also want to caution that we've seen artwork officially come up beforehand, perhaps suggesting something, and we don't necessarily get anything anytime soon. For example, we got that brand new Mario Odyssey sort of sunshine artwork of Mario. It was supposedly a new render, and nothing has really materialized from that up to this point. It's been a few months. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that we won't see something about that in the future. I do think Super Mario Odyssey 2 or the next big 3D Mario game is in development, and I think there's a pretty good chance that that render might be related to that, or at least related to some of the ideas not used in Mario Odyssey 1, which could translate into ideas used for Mario Odyssey 2. But the point is, we got that piece of artwork and we didn't get any sort of major news about a brand new 3D Mario game immediately afterwards. It's been a few months, and it may be a few more months before we get news on that. So the point is, while I'm excited about this piece of artwork, I think it looks really cool, and I do think it could be teasing something about Splatoon 3 in the future. I don't think it means we'll be seeing something about Splatoon 3 really soon, say for example, in a January Nintendo Direct to start off the year 2020. But anyways, everyone, that's just my personal opinion on this piece of artwork that came out a few days ago. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you guys think Splatoon 3 is already in development? Do you think we could be seeing it soon? Or do you also agree with me that it's still a little bit of a ways off? But either way, it's exciting that they seem to be working on it nonetheless. But that's all for now, everyone. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Bye.